Hello everyone, I am Uday Rajesh, Assistant Professor in Physics, Government First Grade College, Bettampadi. In this video lesson, we are going to discuss about divergence and curl of vector fields. First, let us understand divergence of a vector. Divergence is an operation performed on a vector function which gives a scalar function. Consider a closed surface S enclosing a volume V in the region of a vector field F. We have studied in the earlier video the three different types of integration. In that, we have seen the total amount of flux coming out of the given volume through a closed surface can be calculated using the closed surface integral. Using that, the total amount of flux of vector F coming out of the volume V is equals to the closed surface integral vector F dot ds vector. Now, if this entire volume is divided into different parts, say V1, V2, V3, etc. up to Vn, enclosed by the surface areas S1, S2, etc. Sn respectively, and here n being infinitely large, then the volume of each subdivision Vi becomes infinitesimally small. That means if we divide this entire volume into large number of parts, then volume of each part becomes very small. Infinitesimally small amount of flux will be flowing out of the volume Vi through the surface Sn. Now, as Vi tends to 0, the value of 1 by Vi into the closed surface integral over the surface area Si vector F dot dSi, which is nothing but the flux coming out through the surface area Si per unit volume, reaches a limiting value, and this value of flux per unit volume as the volume approaches 0 is called divergence of the vector field F. That is, divergence F, that is equal to grad dot vector F equals the limit as Vi tends to 0, 1 by Vi into the closed surface integral over the surface Si vector F dot dSi vector. Thus, divergence of a vector field F at a point is the net outward flux of vector F per unit volume as the volume about the point tends to 0. Mathematically, divergence of F is equal to grad dot vector F, that is the dot product of grad operator or del operator with the vector F, that gives the del operator is nothing but I cap dou by dou x plus j cap dou by dou y plus k cap dou by dou z in 3-dimensional space dot the vector F in the 3-dimensional space can be represented as I cap Fx plus j cap Fy plus k cap Fz. If we perform the dot product, then we get dou Fx by dou x plus dou Fy by dou y plus dou Fz by dou z. That is nothing but the limit Vi tends to 0, 1 by Vi into the closed surface integral over the surface Si vector F dot d vector Si. Now, if we do the dot product of grad with F, then we get this function. So, by observing this, it can be concluded that divergence of a vector is a scalar. Now, this is vector, this is also vector, but the dot product of two vectors becomes scalar. Now, let us understand what is the physical meaning of this divergence of a vector field. The concept of divergence is valid at a point. The divergence of a vector function, say vector A, at each point gives a rate per unit volume at which the physical quantity represented by vector A emanating from that point. For example, if the vector A at any arbitrary point, say x, represents the velocity of a fluid and divergence of vector A is positive at the point x, then there must be a source of fluid at x, or density of the fluid at x is decreasing. The divergence of a vector field can also be viewed as simply the limit of the field source strength per unit volume. It is positive at the source point in the field and divergence is negative at a sink point, or divergence is zero where there is neither sink nor source. We can understand that using this particular figure here. First let us consider this. So if you observe this particular figure, so here this is the point and the field is going away from that particular point, or it is heading away from that particular point, and therefore the divergence is positive or greater than 0. Thus this point acts as the source of the field. And here in this particular diagram, all the field lines are converging on this particular point. Therefore the divergence of the vector at this point is negative, and this point acts as the sink in the source field. Now if you look at this particular figure, now this point neither acts as a sink nor act as a source. Whatever vector is approaching this particular point, that vector is leaving from that particular point, and therefore the divergence of this point is 0. In the vector field, if this is the situation, then point is the source. If this is the situation in the vector field, then the point is sink. If the same amount of flux coming into the point leaves from that particular point, then the divergence at that point becomes 0. Then the point is neither a sink nor a source. If you consider the electrostatic field, the field intensity diverges from a positive charge and it converges, or the divergence is negative at a negative charge, and that is shown here. So if this is the positive charge, then the field lines are diverging from this particular point, and if this is negative charge, the field lines are converging on this particular point. Therefore the positive charge represents the point of positive divergence, the negative charge represents the point of negative divergence in the field. Divergence of current density at a point gives the amount of charge flowing out per second per unit volume from a small closed surface surrounding the point. When the divergence everywhere is 0, it means the flux entering any element of space is exactly balanced by that leaving from it. A vector whose divergence is 0 is called a solenoidal vector. Next, let us understand the curl of a vector field. Consider a line integral of a vector field, say vector A, taken around a closed path C, where the curve C need not lie in the same plane. The closed path line integral, which is represented in this way, that is line integral over a closed path C, vector A dot dr vector, is called the circulation. Now the curve C is subdivided into much smaller parts, Say this is C1, this is C2, this is C3, C4, C5, etc. Say Cn, where n being very large. If we consider one such a small elemental curve, say Ci, which encloses an elemental area, say Si, in the vector field A, and orient that Ci in such a way that the circulation, the integration over a closed path Ci vector A dot dri is maximum. Then curl of vector A is defined as the curl A. This is a representation of the curl. It is a cross product of del operator with the vector A, that is equal to limit Si tends to 0 1 by Si closed path integration over the curve Ci vector A dot d vector Ri n cap, where n cap, it is shown here, is a unit vector normal to the area for the orientation of the curve at which the circulation is maximum. Here line integral is evaluated by traversing the perimeter of area Si on the side of the unit vector n cap as the side of the right hand screw advances. That means if the line integral path is taken in the anti-clockwise direction, then this is the direction of n cap. If the line integral path is taken in the clockwise direction, then n cap becomes opposite to the n cap what is shown in this particular diagram. Thus, the curl of a vector A at a point is a rotational vector whose magnitude is the maximum circulation of vector A per unit area as the area tends to 0, and whose direction is the normal direction of area when the area is oriented so as to make the circulation maximum. Mathematically, the curl is calculated by taking the cross product of grad with the vector. Therefore, the curl A is equals to del cross A, that is del is I cap dou by dou x, j cap dou by dou y plus k cap dou by dou z, and vector A can be represented in 3-dimensional space as I cap Ax plus j cap Ay plus k cap Az. And if we take the cross product, we get the determinant I cap j cap k cap. The second row becomes dou by dou x, dou by dou y and dou by dou z, and the third row becomes Ax, Ay and Az. If evaluate this determinant, then we get I cap into dou Az by dou y minus dou Ay by dou z plus j cap into dou Ax by dou z minus dou Az by dou x plus k cap into dou Ay by dou x minus dou Ax by dou y. Now if you look at this particular expression, it has components along I cap, j cap and k cap. And therefore, we can conclude that the curl of a vector is also a vector function. Next, let us understand the physical significance of a curl. To understand the concept of curl, a pedal wheel in a stream experiment can be used. Now this is the schematic diagram of a pedal wheel, and this red line that represents the axis of the pedal wheel. Let us consider a water stream of rectangular cross section, and here water is flowing from this side to this side, and we also assume that the velocity of the water is independent of the depth of the water, but the velocity is maximum at the center and it is uniformly decreasing as we go towards the banks on either side, and at the banks it becomes 0. that is represented using the length of this velocity vector. So here the velocity is maximum, which is at the center, and here as we go towards the banks the velocity decreases, and at the banks velocity is 0. Now this experiment is schematically shown in this particular diagram. Now if a frictionless paddle wheel is introduced into the water with its shaft vertical, then in this direction the paddle wheel will be rotating in the clockwise direction, and here the paddle wheel will be rotating in the anti-clockwise direction. The reason being, the velocity of water is more on this side of the paddle wheel than this side, therefore the paddle wheel will be turning in the clockwise direction. Similarly here the velocity of water is more on this side than this side, therefore the paddle wheel will be turning in the anti-clockwise direction. Now if we introduce the paddle wheel at the center of the stream, then the velocity of water on both the sides remains same, therefore the paddle wheel will not turn at the midstream. Then by looking at the ability of the water current to rotate the paddle wheel, one can understand that the left side of the stream has a positive curl and the right side of the stream has negative curl, but the midstream has 0 curl. Now if the wheel is immersed in the water with its shaft horizontal and perpendicular to velocity vector v, then it will not rotate. That is because the top and bottom plates of the paddle wheel will experience the same force. Thus it demonstrates that if the water current is independent of its depth, then the curl of such a water current has no horizontal component. If we consider another stream in which water velocity is 0 at the bottom and increases rapidly up to the surface along the vertical direction, in this case a paddle wheel immersed in the water with its shaft horizontal and perpendicular to the velocity vector v will rotate with the direction of curl towards left of the stream. Hence, to find the direction of the curl, one should place the paddle wheel or curl meter in the field and hunt around for orientation which produces the greatest torque. The direction of the curl is then along the axis of the paddle wheel as given by the right hand thumb rule or right hand screw rule. If the curl of a vector is 0, then the vector field is called irrotational or non-curl field. The example for the non-curl field is electric field, and magnetic field is the example for solenoidal field, because the divergence of the magnetic field is 0. Okay, these are the books I have referred for the preparation of this lecture video. Thank you.